Hello and welcome to our chatbot series. In this series, we'll be looking at different chatbot methods in Python. We'll be looking at the different components of chatbots such as the natural language engineering and the data storage methods. We'll also be looking at how we'll implement them on the user end, so how we'll make them look nice. So we'll have your back-end code with your bot working and the nice user interface on a web page. What are chatbots? Well, a chatbot is a software application used to conduct an online chat conversation via text-to-text or text-to-speech, or even speech-to-text, in replacement of providing direct contact with a live human agent. So, in simple terms, this is code which will provide what a human usually would, and this can be in different methods. So why is this useful? Well, of course, it saves time answering the same question over and over. An organization, take a university for example, may get the same question every year from first years. When does term end, or how do I get to the library? How often is the library open? When does it close? And they might get the same questions over and over. So why not have the questions saved and the answer saved, and it would just give people an automatic response. This saves money on staff, so whether that means that you don't need the staff anymore, or it means that the staff can get on doing other jobs, more important jobs, and the bot can just take over what they used to do. And a big bonus of this is 24/7 availability. You can't always employ someone to be there on a chat, just answering people's questions. So having that 24/7 availability really does help an organization reach to their customers. Why should you learn this? Well, there's quite a few reasons, but the world has been heading in the direction of automation for a very long time. Indeed, it's already taken over. So knowing this and knowing how to implement chatbots, just having a brief understanding will help you on any courses that you decide to do or qualifications, or just helping you get jobs because you understand what you're talking about and can develop these systems. And these jobs is where the money is to be made. Computer science jobs do pay very well, so that's something to bear in mind, and chatbot services are quite big in computer systems and just understanding AI, because chatbots do tie in a lot with AI, and AI is the future. It can also lead down a more scientific route, such as research and development. If you wanted to become an academic or a PhD student studying AI, then it's still, chatbots do tie into it and it will still be helpful. So there's different types of chatbots. I'm only going to cover a few, but there are loads and loads. You can just check on Wikipedia, and there are so many types. So virtual assistants is quite a popular one, such as Alexa, Google and Siri. So you may have one in your room, and what this is a database and also some inbuilt features, such as what is 4 plus 5, and that's an inbuilt feature where it understands you're asking a maths question and it will solve it. You can also connect it to your calendar, so you say, what do I have going on tomorrow? And it will understand that you're talking about time, but not in the way that you're asking what is the time, and it will distinguish between whether you're asking what is the time or whether it's like a calendar question, and it will look through your calendar, try and find keywords, and it's all pre-programmed. And the database, it expands. Some of them have lots of like AI and market research built in to what expands the database, but lots of it is still pre-built within virtual assistants, because they don't want random weird sort of messages that people give to their, if you're swearing at your Google all the time, then they don't want that saving to the database, because if somebody buys a Google and it starts swearing at them, then that's going to look really bad for the company. So everything's very controlled in the virtual assistant world. Customer service, which ties in a bit with virtual assistants, but this is quite a common application. So this can be frequently asked questions, quick assistance and more. So it can be just a chat, you ask questions and it looks through its database, finds something relevant and gives it to you. And sometimes they'll have a learning ability where if they don't understand, it will be logged for the company to answer it, or sometimes it will just forward you on to a live person. some interesting facts. In 2019, it was predicted that by 2021, 15% of all customer service interactions globally will be handled or completed by AI. So that's quite a big jump. And there's another study that chatbot-based interactions will reach 112 billion by 2023. Or sales of chatbot-based interactions. So that ties into why should you learn this? Well, look, it's a lot of money in this area. So there's going to be a lot of jobs in this area. So it's something to have a look at. So self-learning and unsupervised methods. Now this is a bit more interesting, a bit more difficult to code, and there's not really a set answer I can give you for this. But if you look at the CleverBot, which is an online application you talk to, it learns through interaction. So sometimes it can be a bit weird, gives you some weird responses, and other times it can feel like you're talking to a human. But what it does is it just records logs of conversations, finds a conversation which is most relevant to yours with an answer to the sentence that you've given it, and it will try and give you the right information and the most relevant. Because if you're talking about vegetables and you ask what's your favorite, it's not going to then tell you what its favorite movie is. It needs to find something relevant. So look at the conversation, think, talking about vegetables and talking about favorite vegetable. So it's really quite intelligent in the way it learns. It's not always right, but it's quite intelligent. And SHEP version 0.0.10 is about this. So what we're trying to do is write software which just learns off of conversation, learns lots of answers to questions, stores the logs of conversation where this happened, and just try and be quite clever about it. We want to take that further as well, so it will learn through visual stimulus, and we can start implementing this into little robot systems. Now the role of NLE is quite a big one. So NLE is natural language engineering, and it's about giving computers linguistic abilities. So this means when you say different sentences, like what I'm talking or speaking right now, you're understanding, hopefully, in terms of the English language. I'm just throwing sentences at you, and you're understanding what I'm saying through the topics that I'm talking about, through the just general topic words that I'm saying, just like the nouns that I'm saying, and then the structure of it. If I say, what is your name? You know that's a question that I'm asking about your name. If I say, what is my name? You know that I'm asking a question about names, but my name this time, not your name. And it's just about a computer being able to break down sentences, and it comes with quite a lot of challenges. So there's some words which, so if I was to say, I'm going to the bank, you'd think I'm going to a place where there's money. If I was to say, let's sit beside the riverbank, I'm talking about the bank of a river, yet the word bank has two meanings of the same spelling. And there's also all sorts. If I was to say the Knights of the Round Table, I'm talking about sort of knights with chainmail and swords, rather than talking about nighttime, where it's dark after the day. So it can get quite confusing, and NLE is all about breaking down sentences and phrases into what is it meaning, what are you actually saying. And Python has a great resource for this, which is NLTK, the Natural Language Toolkit. Is really quite helpful at tagging sentences, which means breaking up words, so finding if it's a noun, an adjective, what sort of word it is also good. It uses a resource called WordNet, and WordNet is where you can put in, say, a word. So I could put cat, and it will tell me words which link to it. So it will go up in a tree structure, and it will go up to maybe feline, which will go up to animal, which will go up to organism maybe. And then I can get dog, and I can find the shortest route and find how similar they are in this. So if dog and cat, they'll have a shorter path to one another in the tree than perhaps cat and hammer, because a hammer is a tool. It's a lot less linked. Like, it will somehow be linked to a cat through enough traversing through the tree, but it's not as close as a dog will be, because that will link to animal. So it is a very good tool. Now, that's enough of theory. in this series, we will go over a bit of theory and concepts before coding them, because if I just start writing code, you could just switch off and think, well, this is just words and words, like what's the point? So I'll talk about the theory, what we'll be planning to do in each episode, and then we'll get coding them. So hopefully you enjoyed this little introduction, and please subscribe and like, and keep an eye out for our videos that we post. We're going to be doing all sorts, coding virtual assistants, self-learning AIs, and more. And then, as we said at the beginning, I'm teaching you how you'd implement this on the user end to make it look nice. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.